Welcome back to the channel, y'all. Pete here, doing the annual winter/spring Q&A that I try and knock out every off season. A couple days ago, I of course posted on my Instagram story for y'all to submit me questions, and that's what we're gonna be doing. We're gonna be answering those today. Before I get started, I wanna say thanks to everyone who submits questions to all of these types of YouTube videos that I make. I love trying to help y'all out and build a community here. Like I say in every video, that's ultimately what I'm trying to do. So I got my coffee, I got my phone, let's sit down and answer some questions. DL Flicks asks, how do you stay motivated to grind out content even if you're burned out / it's the off season? Honestly, I find off season content really fun. It allows us more time to create things that I want to make. It allows me more time to kind of be a little more intentional with my creativity and the edits that I make, because as you know, during a baseball season there's so many games, which is also awesome in its own way, but sometimes the day-to-day edits and the day-to-day shooting and stuff like that can take away from, you know, being intentional with certain edits, if that makes sense. I love both aspects of it. In terms of staying motivated in general, I try and remember where I'm at, right? So I think a few years ago, I would kill to be in this position, and I don't ever want to take it for granted. I know that's kind of a cliche answer, but Matt Faraci asked, what's it like being so handsome? I don't know. It's great, I guess. Not as handsome as you though. Mike Hopkins Jr. _media, what's up, Mike? Asks, what professional advice would you give yourself 5 years ago? I would say probably always be looking out for ways you can grow. I know that's kind of a cop-out answer again, but let me explain. I think in the last 5 years, and more so recently, maybe 2 to 3 years, as content changes, you're gonna want to find avenues for you to progress and not just be a shooter, right? So as I get older, the more I'm like, look, I don't want to be shooting games when I'm 38 years old, and I know I'll have a family, hopefully, and I don't want to be spending multiple days and nights a week missing things. So I think look for ways where you can excel elsewhere, whether it's motion design or motion graphics, Blender, doing voiceovers and stuff like that, which is something that I have excelled at, and long form editing as well. It's some things that I have done in the last 5 years, but I think 5 years ago I would maybe expand my horizons a little bit and look for more avenues to kind of grow, if that makes sense, rather than just blindly shooting a lot of the time. Jake _Schickler asked, was being a content creator for MLB always on your mind, or did it just happen to line up? So in 2016, I bought a Sony a6000, and I started making videos. And you know, back when I was younger, I made Lego edits and stuff like that with animations and webcams and stuff. That's kind of how I got into video, but then I put it down for a while, got back into it in high school, like I said, in 2016. And I knew immediately that I wanted to do some form of video editing or video production. At Georgia, I kind of got lucky and was able to land an internship as a student with athletics. And ever since then, I knew I wanted to work in sports. Was it with MLB specifically? No, not really. I don't think I had anyone specifically in mind. I always really liked soccer. I always really liked other things as well. But once I got the job, I knew it was kind of like a dream job, right? I loved baseball as a kid. I obviously played, and I loved video. So it's kind of combining two things that I loved as a kid. Coburn.creations asked, favorite shot of last season. There was a lot, especially during the World Series. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, towards Atlanta and Ronald Acuna, but I definitely think his first pitch home run back after his ACL injury is probably my favorite. Zach Gardner has a few questions here. Do you have a game day ritual? Not really, but I think there's one, and I always get 2 hot dogs before the game, ketchup and mustard, and a Coke Zero after batting practice, always. Any sports videography hot takes? You should never pay someone to give you classes on sports videography. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I also don't like when content creators or people who are at big time jobs open classes and stuff like that. I know everyone's trying to make a living and whatever, but I think it's kind of taking advantage of younger videographers and the fact that it's such a glamorous job and whatever. I don't like that, because I think you can get a lot of knowledge online for free, i.e. these videos, Peter Sorellis. I think there's a lot of people that you can kind of go to and seek people out. And not to mention people on Instagram, like some of my coworkers, Fass and Campbell, you can DM, and most of the time we'll always answer. I don't want to speak for them, but I know they they respond to a lot of stuff too. And then Zach Gardner 22, how did you get your job with the MLB? Come on, Zach, we can't be calling it the MLB, bro. I haven't explained this in a while, but for those of y'all who are new, I was a senior at Georgia, and someone on our team reached out to me on Instagram, actually, like the beginning of our baseball season at Georgia, and was like, what are you doing post-grad? And that was when the Braves were like kind of a young team and they needed someone in Atlanta, and I took the job, and I got it a month before the pandemic. I got really lucky because if it had been a month later, I probably wouldn't be here in this current role, but I was part-time for the first 2 years, then I became full-time in 2022. Blumberg Film, what up, Nate? He says, your thoughts on implementing AI specifically for videographers' workflow? This is like a really tricky question. I know like the whole entire like global economic system is being propped up by AI right now, but I think AI is ultimately going to be a tool for everyone, right? So, and this isn't even just for in the content industry. Like this is finance and consulting and, you know, taking notes, writing emails. Like I think there's things that AI is going to do that is going to make our lives easier. And I think that is how it's going to translate to video editing as well. So, you know, if I want to make a motion tracking edit on a pitch and AI can do that faster than in the 30 minutes or whatever it takes me to do it, like go be ahead. Like that gives me more time to be creative elsewhere, because ultimately human creativity is not going to be replaced by AI. I think there are aspects where it can be replicated and in mundane tasks like editing, right? Like cutting down interviews where like there's blank space, like a video like this, for instance. I can use AI just to cut out all the parts where I'm not talking. I think that is gonna be a great use of AI in video editing. And then also, like I think what you did with that Kyle Tucker video, creating a shot that didn't exist, right? So, you know, obviously that jersey of Kyle Tucker sitting in the locker didn't exist yet. And you obviously were able to use AI to kind of plug that in to your edit before the news even broke. I know like some of y'all are gonna be really anti-AI and might unsubscribe from me, but like, look, the way I look at it is the whole global economy is propped up by this. It's not stopping because unfortunately there's trillions and trillions of dollars in AI and it's not gonna go away. Kirk T. Kirk asks, how do you stay motivated and inspired creatively through a season? And this has kind of been asked, but I think some techniques that I use during a season, especially when I'm shooting, is to always shoot tighter. I've talked about this before. Shooting details and stuff like that is something that has helped me get through long seasons, especially when it gets hot, July, August. And then also just like being intentional when I go to the ballpark. So if I see an edit online that I want to replicate, or I have an idea in my head that I want to do, I'm going to go to the ballpark and be intentional. Whether that's a ball split effect or something with sound effect, sound design heavy, like I'm more intentional and I go to the ballpark trying to replicate something. Because it might teach me a new skill in editing or shooting or something like that. Marcus Serrate asks, how close have you been to taking another job elsewhere, and what would it take to leave MLB? I love my job. Like I said, it's a dream job. I've never really been close. When I was part-time, there were a few times that it was close, but ever since I've been full-time, nah, because look, I love it. I have flexibility. I get to travel. I'm young, and during this time in my specific life, before having kids and everything, I know this is the time where I get to have a job like this, right? With the long hours and the traveling and stuff. So I've never really been close to leaving, and I love the people I work with. David Hyde Media asks, what was the difference maker that got you to the spot you're at now? That's a really good question. And this is gonna sound really cliche, but just like being a good person goes a really long way. So when we do interviews for our content creators around the country, and you know, the people on our team specifically, everyone is such a good person. And I think that's one thing that I've really learned in the last 2 years, is that working with good people is always gonna trump working with bad people, because sports have long hours, you're losing your weekends, you're traveling a lot maybe, and you don't wanna be around bad people who frustrate you or talk down to you or are demeaning. You wanna be around people who are your friends and your coworkers. And I think that is one thing that if you're interacting with people at a stadium or on the sidelines, make sure you're just really kind to everyone. Don't be mean to security guards. Don't be mean to other content creators. Don't clout chase. Do not clout chase. People notice that stuff. Jay Lee Films asks, what was shooting in the Rogers Center like? My dream venue to shoot in. Oh, it was awesome. I mean, the Rogers Center was awesome. I didn't go there pre-renovation, but I've always wanted to go there because it looks electric ever since, you know, Bautista's bat flip back in the day. And I'm glad that I got to go there and see like the pinnacle of the sport there. So yeah, I loved it. Atmosphere is great. Canadians are so nice, and they love their sports, and I love that Blue Jays team. They're really fun. Dave_Levenger asks, what's the best dish you cook/make? Dude, the other day I made a honey ginger chicken with like this custom like Chinese 5-spice blend with like umami, chili powder and chili flakes, and it was incredible. It was Chinese salt and pepper seasoning. It was awesome with some veggies and some stir-fry noodles. Bodman GT, what's up, dude? What's up, Garrett? Would you be open to someone shadowing you to learn more about your craft? Of course. It just might be a hard ask because I don't ultimately control like the credentialing and everything, so it's gonna be hard. Danny_Sayers asks, how are you so much better and cooler than Matt Fass? Not easy. It's easy. It's not that hard. He's tall though. That's it. He's a 6'5" merchant. Kyle Sheridan_ asks, any tips for a possible future MLB LCC? I'd say if you want to be an LCC, make sure you're good at both, so photo and video, or decent at one and really good at the other, because it's really crucial to be good at both in the modern day, especially in sports. People are looking for both. I think photo jobs are really hard to come by, especially just photo specific, because there's not that many, and the people who are in them are really talented, and they're not going to leave anytime soon because there's not that many jobs. So be good at both. Video teams are still growing, social teams are still growing, and they all overlap there, especially in a video sense. All right, final question is from Brian Kennedy. Love Brian, super awesome dude. He asks, my question mainly was for someone who wants to be in a similar position as you in the future. What skills would you recommend learning, and how would those skills come into play in a, let's say, daily life of Pete Gottschalk, if that makes sense? Like what skills, who's interested in working in the same field or job position as you learn? And then what are some examples of how they would come into play on a daily basis out in the field? Again, it's kind of on a similar thing. Like I think be good at both. I know you started, Brian, specifically as a photographer, and your photos are awesome. And your videos are really good too. But learning other aspects of video and video editing too. So learning how to do a simple tracking edit, or learning how to edit like a simple social video, like a fun questions we always asked our players on photo days, like how do you like your steak cooked, or like learn to edit fun things like that that are simple, and be willing to learn things like that is where I think you'll become like a full content creator. Being like a well-rounded content creator is really important in this day and age, and learning video editing, and of course like studio photography and all those things, which I know you already have a great grasp on. For everyone here, not just you, Brian, being a well-rounded content creator, I think, is crucial in this environment. I appreciate every single one of y'all who submitted questions. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed yet, if you're new here, make sure you give this video a like and hit the subscribe button, and I'll see y'all in the next one.